Wow, Penacony was something, and I'll tell you right now, in general, this is going to be a spoiler type of video. So if you have not played through version 2.0 of Penacony, aka Honkai Star Rail, I highly recommend that you skip this video for now, come back when you finish the story yourself, and then see if your opinions on everything line up with mine. Now, back to the video. I was floored with Penacony's story in general when it came to Honkai Star Rail, and I think that a lot of content creators could say that as well. The fact that this story was so much fun, so many twists and turns, that honestly I wasn't expecting a lot of them. And not only that, but overall Penacony just seems to be a lot of fun outside of just the story. But we're not here just to talk about, you know, like, oh, all the features of it. We're going to talk about the actual story here. So before we get into that, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell to be notified of when the next Honkai Star Rail video comes out. And of course, leave a comment. Would love to hear y'all's opinion on this. And of course, don't forget, I am sponsored by the ever wonderful Gamer Subs. Use code TEXTRA for 10% off. But yes, let's go ahead and dive into it. As you can see, this is some of my playthrough in the background. I'm actually taking this straight from my stream, so you'll see me kind of going weird with the camera angle, so my apologies. But Penacony's world design in general is just really cool. I had a lot of fun going through this whole entire story and finding all the crazy stuff that was going on. A lot of really cool things in general were happening during this whole entire thing, and I can't say enough that the world itself is crazy. Now, of course, the story goes as this. The Astral Express is invited to Penacony as part of the Charmony Festival, and you get there with Himeko, Welt, and March 7th. But on the way there, you have a strange dream, and it's all this craziness, and you really can't decipher it too much. All you know is that you meet a bunch of these characters, or holograms of these characters, alongside meeting Acheron, who is a galactic ranger. Now, as you proceed through the story, you get to the actual, you know, hotel of Penacony, and you actually get to meet a bunch of, you know, new faces. You get to meet Sunday and Robin, who are brother and sister, and Robin being actually a superstar, I guess, in the sense, a singing superstar. You also get to meet Adventurine, who, in my opinion, is one of my favorite characters right now, because he just looks absolutely sick. Like, he looks just crazy cool. But doesn't stop there. You're basically not given a room right out the get-go. Adventurine kind of vouches for you in that sense, because after being persuaded by Himeko, which, you know, at this point, who wouldn't be persuaded by Himeko? And you get a room. As you go to your room, Adventurine's actually in there, and it sounds like something's about to happen, but Acheron, who you stop talking to in your dreamscape, actually, like, comes over to the room, sees what's going on, and stops Adventurine from what is perceived as a possible attack from Adventurine. Already, it's hostile like crazy. There's so many different factors going into this. But as you continue, you're talking to Acheron, and you finally are able to go into the dreamscape yourself, which is where Penacony actually is. So the whole thing with Penacony is, like, its entire city is in the dreamscape itself, which is an insane thing to think about, because in dreams you can basically do anything. All sorts of stuff happens. Now, you go to the dreamscape into a area that no one else is at in regards to your team. So Himeko, Welt, March 7 went to other places. You basically crash land in this area, and you're exploring a little bit around until you find a group of these, like, family member thug members are actually interrogating this girl with white hair, as you could see on the screen. Now, we later find out that her name is Firefly, but at that time, she's being accused of being a stowaway in Penacony, which was kind of weird for me, because I'm guessing what it meant was that she kind of snuck in to Penacony and got into the dreamscape herself without actually being allowed to be in the dreamscape. So, but she's being interrogated by these family members when Gallagher comes up and says, hey, it was a dude that was, you know, a stowaway, not a girl, so what are you doing? By the way, Gallagher calls them lads and lasses, so automatically as a, you know, as an Irishman, I'm a very happy man. But anyways, that goes on and you befriend Firefly, which you and her go on this like date basically. She shows you around basically saying that she is actually a local to Penacony. So she's there, she's showing you all these places. You go into these different mini games or learning other mini games. They even have a gachapon area where you can like win free stuff, and there's a Lycaon in there, which I still have yet to pull, and I'm very, very upsetty spaghetti about it. But either way, you're going on the date and everything's going really, really well until you start going to Firefly's hideout, which is where you find out that she is a stowaway, which is pretty dang crazy. By the way, during this time that this is going on, as you can see, we have Sampo here. You actually do find Sampo during this, right? We'll get to that here in just a moment. But during this time, you've learned about all the dreamscapes and stuff, all these different types of like dreams that you could go into, and you could even have a dream made specifically for you to have and go in the dream within a dream, and it's like dreamception. It's like craziness all around. By the end of your date with Firefly, you meet up with Sampo once again, only this time it turns out it's not Sampo. This whole time you've been tricked by Sparkle, who was able to kind of infiltrate, you know, your mind, I guess, in a sense, and find out, you know, about people that you like or people that you're, you know, that you've been with, so on and so forth. Well, you and Firefly get transported into another dreamscape where you basically are in a freaking horror movie. And this part literally like made me go crazy, because I was like, what the heck is going on? It went from, oh, slice of life, going on a date with Firefly, which she is adorable. And then all of a sudden you're on this whole freaking like thing with just it's like The Shining almost, but you're going through all these corridors with TVs until finally you get to an area where you fight basically what could be considered death itself. And this new boss actually will take party members of yours and take their souls, and you have to break them out to get those souls back, which is pretty cool. It's a cool concept in general, and I really like the boss itself. However, it was very stressful because I felt like I was going to, you know, actually lose a couple times, because this boss does do a lot of damage. Now, fast forward a little bit, Black Swan comes in and saves the day and pulls you and Firefly out of the dreamscape to kind of be back into the real world. And you meet back up with March 7th, Welt, and Himeko to discuss what exactly happened. You're choosing to trust Black Swan at the moment, even though right now as it stands, there's not a lot of people you could trust except for March 7th, Welt, Himeko, and of course Firefly, which you don't know if Firefly made it out. To which Black Swan reassures you, if you got out, Firefly probably got out, right? So you go back in the dreamscape because you're trying to find out exactly what's going on, and all this time you're going through and you find Acheron. And Acheron basically works with you in that sense, like she tags along with you and Black Swan. And you're going through these areas trying to figure out what's going on until you get to a certain area where all of a sudden you see Firefly. And you're like, huh, Firefly's there. Oh my God, she's okay. And the cutscene is just absolutely insane. Like, let me see if I can find it in this stream. I'm pretty sure I can. Where is it? I'll find it here in just a moment. You see me looking through. You already know that's what I'm doing. I can't tell if I passed by it or not. I'm pretty sure I didn't, because I know it was near the end of the stream. Okay. Where is it? I gotta find it, man. You guys gotta watch this cutscene with me, because it was bonkers. I can find it. Am I going crazy? I believe it should be. I know this is going on longer than it should, and I probably should have found this beforehand. Don't yell at me, please. I can't find it. I can't find it, but either way, basically you go through and in this cutscene, you find... Oh, wait, hold on. Actually, might be right here. I click randomly, and it might be over here. Either way, it's going to be around this area, and you'll see it. But anyways, so you find out that Firefly's alive. She's right there, and then all of a sudden, the same boss creature that you found before literally swoops in past you, and they thought it was going to go after you, and swings up Firefly and ends up stabbing Firefly through the chest. And during that time, Firefly's trying to say I'm sorry, but then gets like, it's crazy. It literally was just like insanity up the wazoo. I didn't expect a lot of the stuff that happened to happen, because there was a lot. It was crazy. I literally sat there in shock for a while after the cutscene happened, because I just was not expecting it. Actually, it is right here in this area. Here it is. So let's rewind it. This is the actual cutscene itself. Oh my gosh! Again, spoilers if you haven't watched this before, but this cutscene was insane. See, you're right there. You're with Acheron. You're with Black Swan. Oh look, Firefly's just so happy, isn't she? You're running up. Oh my God, you're safe. What is that black dust or purple dust? Oh my gosh, here it comes. Passes by you, and this was insane. The imagery and what, oh my God. Insane. Oh, it's just insane. But there's a couple things that we'll talk about even during this cutscene, where we kind of see this little goop, which doesn't look entirely family friendly, but I digress. But there's more to this than we let on, or that we know. Now, as you can see, Acheron didn't pull out her sword, and she says that she could have even like helped out in some way, but just didn't, because of the fact that, you know, she can't tell you right now. Well, during that, you're basically calming yourself down. Black Swan calms you down with the emotions and tells you, hey, we need to find out why this happened. You're going through everything, right? And you're investigating the area. You find these like shadow clones of Firefly that's going through the scenario, and you find out that Firefly was working with another person, but you don't know who, but they're a mech type of person. And as you go through, you're trying to find out exactly what happened, and we're gonna kind of go through this right here, go to the next cutscene that's bound to happen here in just a little bit. God, I will say the puzzles in this area were just crazy. These were the little hologram thingies that I was talking about beforehand. But basically what ends up happening is you're going through and you find a Stellaron hunter who has actually been in this area, and their name is Sam. Now, people in the community know of Sam because Sam was the only other Stellaron hunter, I believe, at the time. That wasn't revealed. And Sam is a mech boy, or mech something, whatever Sam is going to be. But you find out that Sam abandoned Firefly and let her explore by herself. And so it was Sam's fault that this all happened, or at least that's what we think. So you find Sam and you go to battle him, basically. And you're fighting, everything's going all crazy cool and stuff. I think actually, yeah, we're in the area where we get to fight Sam. So here, we'll pull up the cutscene right here. So there we go. There's Sam right there. Sam is incinerating so many different things. But there's a couple things that we don't know about what's going on. Sam sees something that we don't. But again, we don't see it. Not until we realize a few things, right? So as you continue through this little stream here, we're gonna try and get this all down, because this battle took a little bit longer than I expected, only because the fact that we were trying to like hurry up and get done with him. But as you can see here, where is it? We're almost there. There we go. So as we come up to this cutscene, right? And I want to talk about this cutscene by cutscene because it's important. As you can see, the battle between Acheron and Sam is going crazy. But as you saw right there, like, it's a little weird but we'll kind of go back to it a little bit. So you see how they're fighting and Black Swan and you are not there. Sam's going after you apparently, but why is his hand outreached like that? It's not trying to like hurt you, but what's crazy is that Acheron pops up right beside you, and you would think that Acheron was protecting you. Oh, no, 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 no. This is where it gets even crazier. Black Swan now takes you to go see Adventurine, which is insanity in of itself, because you're like, what is going on with all this? And Adventurine is explaining to you everything that's going on. He explains that Acheron's actually trying to kill you, all this other stuff going on, and the only reason why him and Black Swan kind of, you know, did this was so then that way you could like, it's hard to explain. It's basically the reason why he did this is because he's trying to like get you to see the truth of Penacony. Now, it gets even crazier. So after you finally go, you know what? I believe you. I believe everything that you're saying. You get to this part, and the reason why I want to pause this is that this was absolute insanity as well. I was not expecting this. I was already floored by the Firefly thing, but I wasn't expecting this cutscene. And this just goes to show no one is safe in Penacony. No one is safe. Now, granted, me and others were gonna say, we were saying that it was gonna be Himeko that dies in the story. But so far it's not Himeko. And for people who don't know, the person who wrote this story specifically was another one that had like a major tie-in with Honkai Impact 3rd. So a lot of the twists and turns that we see are based off of this guy, and this guy or girl is a crazy writer. But as you can see, they're going through the room. It's going through the same dialogue that they had before, and you can see instantly shocked. There's Robin, the sister of Sunday, dead in a dreamscape pool. This shocked me because I was like, these were two characters that people really, really liked, and all of a sudden they're dead, right? And that's where we get the to be continued. Now, of course, there is another cutscene afterwards with Sunday and Sparkle that has a lot of heavy implications of what's going to happen in the next patch. So I'm pretty stoked on that. Overall, this story was insane. And I have to say, bravo. Bravo to Honkai Star Rail for putting out such a big story update just in the first, like, actual update series. Like, I'm hooked. I'm hooked on the story, and I think this was a much better start than Honkai Star Rail's first update with all the stuff going on with Kafka and Silver Wolf and the Stellaron Hunters and Kakalia and all that stuff. I think so far this is insane, and I love it. I love the fact that we have no idea what's going to happen in the next update. We have no idea who's safe, who's not, and it's just crazy. I wish that I could put it in better words, but my God, this has been a fun ride so far. Overall, Penacony story to me gets a 9 out of 10 so far. I'm really enjoying what they're doing and what they have coming up. Now, of course, does that mean it's going to be great in the next update? No, but I will say this. It's good to see that nobody is safe, because I'm so used to Genshin Impact where everybody is like, hey, we're perfectly fine, no one's gonna die here. But here it's like, all those characters you like, don't get too attached. Now, a couple things. One, I will tell you this, as somebody who didn't experience this and had somebody in their chat ruin it, don't be someone like that. I still was floored by all this, but I had somebody in my chat before Firefly died, and I was like, oh, Firefly is adorable, oh my gosh. They were like, don't get too attached to her. And for people who say that's not spoiling, that's spoiling. Because what you're telling me is something is going to happen to the character. You're just not telling me what. And ultimately it is spoiling in some sense. And if you don't agree with me, I'm sorry, but I do have to say you're wrong. because legitimately you're telling me not to get attached to somebody because there's going to be something happening, whether they turn out to be a bad guy, whether they turn out dead, whether they disappear. It's the same thing. You're telling me not to get attached to this character because something's going to happen to them. Now, what you should say is like, and this is kind of trolly in the sense you should be like, yeah, Firefly's a really great character, isn't she? You know, and just talk about how much you love Firefly, because that's not really spoiling. That's basically getting the streamer attached to it. And it's trolling, but that's the type of trolling I can be like, you rat bastards, you know, that type of stuff. So do stuff like that. Don't spoil the actual outcome, whether it's very minor spoilers or major spoilers. Don't do that to people. That's why I said at the beginning of this video, there are spoilers. So if you have watched this and you're mad at me, I told you it's a spoiler alert. If you haven't played through the Penacony story yet, click off and go and do it. But yeah, there was that, and then not only that, but there's a lot of drama going on with Sparkle's character, and I think a lot of people are just mad because a villain is actually a villain, or the Joker of her group is actually, you know, pretty bad as a person, and that's the whole point. There's nothing wrong with a character being mean or a villain of any sort, because honestly, those types of characters we're meant to not like. That's the whole point of it. So, but I digress, you know, it's not one of those things where I'm hard pressed on it, you know what I mean? But I will say in general, Penacony's story has been fun. I love all the characters so far in their respective roles. They're great characters, and I can't wait for 2.1. Now, of course, if you like the content, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below, and hit that notification bell to be notified of when the next Honkai Star Rail video comes out. And of course, leave a comment about what you thought about Penacony. Now, I don't know if we're gonna do the same thing for 2.1. It depends on how well this video does. So if you guys really do like this, I encourage you to please comment, get me in that algorithm so that other people can see what's going on. So, but yeah, that's gonna be it. Love you all to death. And as always, we will catch you in the next video. Please take care and be safe.